All right, Dan, welcome to finally a new episode of the Critical Introverts podcast. It's been, I don't know, probably close to 6 months since the last one. Just a lot of annoying setbacks. I moving all this stuff to the new house took like a whole bunch of time. A car accident and the
Ooh.
holidays. So yeah, here we are. I'm gonna be kind of rusty because I haven't done this in a while, so let's just fucking get into it. So yeah, what the fuck is up, guys?
What's up, man? I'm glad you're alive.
I know, right?
It's nice to see you.
Yeah, man. I mean, that sucks, but it's awesome to see you back.
Yeah, it feels good. Like I didn't realize until maybe 2 weeks ago that like I needed to do this, just to like I don't know. You get like so trapped in your own head sometimes that it kind of just fucks with you. So it's just nice to just have a release and not just be so like trapped in your own little online world and actually talk to people
Yeah,
about this
Online.
kind of stuff.
yeah.
Oh yeah, technically, but like, through voice, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
um so yeah, let's just kind of get into the last thing that kind of happened recently, what, like 2 weeks ago or a week ago was the Epstein list release.
What
Oh,
didn't happen
oh my
2 weeks
gosh, we're getting
ago?
into the hardcore stuff
What
already.
didn't happen 2 weeks
Diving
ago? I
right
think is I think is the better question. Is an easier thing to answer.
Yeah. I'm mostly just curious on like what do you guys think overall on just
I mean,
the
it's
topic
a good
itself.
thing that it's
The
finally
Epstein list
happened.
didn't drop. A portion of
Mm,
something related to Epstein
yeah.
dropped because of a defamation lawsuit where someone else gave some information, and Bill Clinton and Stephen Hawking were
Yeah.
were among some of the people that were named, and it was confirmed that the God Emperor Donald Trump was never visited the island and never
Hmm.
did anything wrong because he's the goodest boy ever somehow.
Yeah, that's the main thing about the whole like Donald Trump connection to this, because I figured if he was really in it, like that would have been big news since day one. But since he
It's not.
isn't, it's like no one
It's
cares.
he's actually like, hey, he's not a douchebag.
I know.
Which is because he's a New York real estate tycoon. Like I want him to be a douchebag. Like I want him to be a little terrible.
Yeah.
Because if my life came under the level of scrutiny that Trump's had, my life would be over.
Oh
That's
yeah.
just the fact. And I don't do, and I'm not a billionaire.
Yeah,
You know,
you have to have like a good amount of like,
like
fuck.
they don't even have stuff like, oh, when he was in kindergarten, he
Mm,
pushed a boy off the swing when it wasn't his turn. Like he doesn't even have that.
yeah.
I have that, you know?
Actually, when you put it like that, it's like the worst he's got under his belt is that he was a playboy, and at this point, what guy wasn't? It's
Yeah,
like,
he banged a porn
Who
star. I
didn't who
mean,
didn't know he was a playboy though? Like
yeah, I mean, there's really nothing
yeah.
very newsy about that. And like not condoning any of it because, douchebaggery is still douchebaggery. But hey, it's clear to see that he's turned a new leaf from that whole thing. I mean, even what he said at the whole beginning of his campaign, like before the 2020 elections. Um,
Or the grab him by the pussy thing or whatever.
yes,
Okay.
like when he said that, I mean, it was just all it was a face palm moment for me. But
uh,
everyone took it like he's a bad man. He's a bad man. It's like no, he's a guy.
Yeah. um, Mostly I'm just curious about like, what do you think this just generally says about just like, I don't know, just our views on media and the trust of media. Um,
I mean, at this point, there's really nothing great, good to say about it.
mm,
You can't trust it. It's only good for I don't know, not even background noise. Like I think at this point, people just turn their televisions off to Well, they just turned it off at this point.
Mhm.
Um, Also, I think I'm going to end my stream because this is content that is probably better for this channel than it is for like my channel. My channel is just like mainly specifically focused on the art, but at the very
Right.
least, people got a
Yeah.
taste of what it is.
Okay,
So
hi,
hello.
So you
bye.
shouldn't talk
Yeah,
about true
bye
things on
everybody.
Twitch.
I'm very happy you at least got a little bit of what I'm doing in this interview. Please follow each of these people: Trevor Brown, Nate Cat, and Senor Filth. Please check out what's the podcast name again?
Critical Introverts.
Critical Introverts. All right. So please check that on YouTube. Bye bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. Crap. All right. So for me, I just look at it as just a. It's odd that something that should be just gold news, like this should be like headline fucking news, but it's really not. It kind of went away like maybe a day or two after like it kind of came out, and I just don't understand like how people can.
Because it's not novel.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I mean, honestly, from what it is, they're just trying to grasp at straws with President Trump, and I'm still sticking to president because 100% that election was rigged. Um, just they're trying to pick at whatever straws there are. There's nothing that says anything that he's just a normal human being.
But
And
I
humans
also, yeah, I
suck.
also, yeah, I also look at this as just like an interesting kind of like destruction of like the average person's views of like Hollywood stars and the powerful elites. Like there's usually like this grandiose kind of image, and you know that they're so graceful and stuff like that. But just you know, just hearing about like the Stephen Hawking shit of all people, like Stephen Hawking, some like supposed respected scientist guy.
Oh yeah, little boy, I love it when you
Yeah,
do
yeah. It's just
that.
it's so it's
You know,
He was in the
unironically,
list.
yeah.
Seriously?
unironically,
Oh, that is
his
so
fetish
weird.
is children doing math.
Yeah.
It's oh my god, it's
Yeah, it's a interesting like kind of takedown of like just I don't know, you call it like the authority of like the powerful authority that people just have on these people. It's really it's something to watch, and I can tell that people are just super confused about like who they should kind of just generally like as far as in Hollywood now. So
I mean, although I'm sorry, I feel like I keep taking over the podcast.
go ahead, go ahead.
It's just it seems so obvious like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago that Hollywood was a capital full of pedophiles. I would think that that's old news, but oh, hi, person.
Okay,
Hello.
I'll be with you guys in a moment.
all
Okay.
right.
It's just why is that news though? Like more than half of those people on that list were not it's not really all that surprising.
Yeah, but also just you know like I mean you're an artist, so I'd imagine that you know growing up you had some heroes that you know probably were people on television, that kind of type, and now to see this kind of shit happen over the last couple years, it's like you, I'm not saying you specifically, but just people that like have followed celebrities and that kind of ilk of person, like to see them just not just be looked at as scumbags, but just like evil. Like there's nothing worse than just like child diddling and trafficking and shit like that. And just see them like engaged in that and know about that and just be quiet for the sake of their own careers. Like it's really just so bizarre. Like
well, I mean, it's not like they could go to the FBI.
yeah,
They were
that's true.
facilitating it. So, you know, like is really this is a power as power does kind of thing. I've said it before. You know, so I'm just kind of like, okay, so in the past 17 days, there's a sect of Jews that have a vast underground network of tunnels
Yeah.
in New York City. There was earthquakes everywhere. There was an earthquake here in California. It was 20 miles away from me was the epicenter. It was a 4.6, 4.7.
Mm-hmm.
And then same day there was a 7 point something, like in Japan.
Yeah.
And you can it's only been 17 days, and like we already have an entire year's worth of news.
Yeah.
Has just happened. We've gotten confirmation that even more confirmation that the Epstein stuff is real, not the actual client list or anything like that. That's gonna stay hidden forever because of course it is. The earthquakes, Jewish tunnels. Like it's such a like New York too, like not like Georgia, not like somewhere you wouldn't expect, like the wildest things that your crazy uncle would talk about has just come true. And it keeps coming true over and over and over again. Everything that every like no phrase,
Mm-hmm.
every no opinion, it's all true. And the worst part is it's a coincidence.
That is so.
That's the worst part. It's all a coincidence. There's no structure. No. Well, not the Trump stuff. Whatever in the news media, the FBI, and all that stuff. But all the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like apparently, like the guys in the tunnels worshipped like their own messiah and all that stuff. Like every single possible stereotype.
I haven't really heard that
possibly
much.
Imagine. And then it all came true. And it's just one of those things where it's like, this is why no one cares about the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Is because the FBI just revealed their get out of jail free card basically of random shit, right? There was a the Epstein list. There's aliens in Miami. The Epstein list. There's Jewish tunnels. The Epstein list. Here, have an earthquake.
They're doing everything to distract us, basically.
I don't think the earthquake, but it's certainly not helping.
Do you think that maybe part of like all this shit kind of happening at once is sort of like just due to like this never-ending information cycle in just internet media? Because back in the day, like if there was a story, it was just like one story for that period of time, and now there's like, you mentioned the Jewish tunnel thing. I only heard a little bit of that and just kind of moved on to other weird shit that was going on. Like there's like this unlimited resources from the internet and everything like that. It just never ends, and it just makes you wonder if like, is it because that there's just so much like the funnel of information from the internet is just so grand that it just feels like shit's chaotic right now. I don't know, just
how much do you know about the Soviet Union in 1975?
I would say
the answer is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't come over here, right? We have a general idea of what the country was, but they were putting people in prison camps and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful flower, comrade. Unfortunately, you purchased that flower with moldy rock bread, which means you need to go to Gulag now.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, but we didn't hear about that because I don't know, whatever the hell people were doing whatever the hell people were doing in the 70s. Like,
yeah.
When you tap in to all of human civilization all at once, it's like, yeah, you're gonna get a bunch of stuff naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of it. It's why I stopped caring. It's why I shut down my own news organization. Because I'm like, screw this. Actually, I'm sick of being the problem.
What do you think?
What's one more podcaster?
Yeah. What do you think, Nate?
Well, I think Trevor definitely said it pretty well in the sense that it's just a whole bunch of distractions. It's just layered distractions because really, at the end of the day, I mean, we can just like trying to figure out whether aliens exist or not. People just want disclosure,
Mm-hmm.
and we're never going to get. I mean, this whole list thing is just to tease people and keep them distracted from something even far worse, and that is that this they don't want people to understand the human condition. Truly, they don't want people to understand that they are in fact enslaved mentally, especially, and spiritually. They don't want people to understand that most people believe in authority as some kind of solution to our human condition. So they want you to stay very distracted with all these things. And they're very good at it because they are ancient dark psychologists. They know exactly what they're doing, and they will continue to do this until people actually start to awaken to it. But they know that people will just devour each other, till the end, because
Mm-hmm.
they know people just don't care about reality. They don't care about truth. They don't care about actually understanding the dynamics of what is truly going on in this world. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
just continue to feed us all this nonsense, and people will just keep on, taking it in and keep spewing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's healthy to have the conversations. I mean, we absolutely should. But if we're not going to stop and think for a second, like, hey, what is really the problem here? Because, just like you said, Beto or Senor Filth, you're very, like, where is it all going? Is it just like this, vicious thing that just keeps going on and on and on and just keeps taking our minds on and on? Yeah, that's what it's designed to do. It's an
Mm-hmm.
algorithm machine to keep us so entertained and divided to where we just never care to even think for 1 second. Just meditate, like like you said, you just took all this time away from social media and doing this thing. It's healthy to just step back and, like, really think about reality for a second and see that
Mm-hmm.
there's something so much bigger here that we're missing. There's a big giant elephant in the room
Mm-hmm.
that people just act like it's not there.
Yeah.
And but also to really put the emphasis on this list, you know do I think that there's importance to this list? Yeah, absolutely, because people need to be held accountable for their actions, their
Mm-hmm.
immoral actions. They're trash people. These people are garbage, and
Mm-hmm.
they need to be pointed out. And yes, there is a distraction from them. But there's something far deeper and darker going on here. And when you really dive deeply, you will see that it's these people play everything so close to the chest. They are absolute perfected chess players of the mind. They know exactly where our minds are at all time. People who don't understand, mind control, don't understand the methods of mind control, don't understand, uh, you know, religion or cults or, any of the, uh, the ways that people have been manipulating minds for, millennia.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
so,
not it's not even that complicated. We can do it in a rapid succession, right? Your food in the store is poison. Okay, Google turned your camera on when you went on incognito tab. Google sees what you're doing when you
right,
turn that app on, and they're being sued, which is a fancy way of saying we violated the law, but we're not going to get in trouble because we have a bunch of lawyers that are pretending to be against us, so you can get a cash settlement so we can continue to keep the data we have from turning your camera on where you were wanking it.
Mhm.
You know, like your food, the most popular, search engine, they just wanted to see your willy. They just had to see your willy for their bottom line and nothing else.
Yeah.
We can take a look at, like, it blows my mind. I don't give a shit about the desert in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. But with the Israel Palestine thing, it's like,
Yeah, I don't care either.
they're committing genocide. It's like, so South Africa and the Middle East is killing every Christian they can,
Yeah.
on the grounds of the fact that they're Christian. Like, there are genocides taking place
Thank you. Sorry.
all over the world, and no one cares about those. And to be honest, I don't care about the genocide over there.
Yeah.
I care about the fact that, like, Google saw my willy, and my food is poisoned, and my water's poisoned, and my TV is poisoned, and my video games are poisoned, and my books are poisoned, and my news is poison.
Yeah.
What else? That's about it. Like, I have too much going on
Yeah.
to worry about evangelicals fighting over their, like,
Yeah.
with desperate claims to their own holy lands. Like, they haven't shut up for 3,000 years, but magically, it's the most important thing in the world. Right
Mhm.
around the time Biden's son was getting in trouble
Yeah.
for something involving
Oh my
crack again,
gosh.
probably. It's just kind of like around. I want to say around August. I don't remember when. I just, like, wait, why do I care?
Yeah.
Has caring impacted it? And I'm just kind of like, wait a minute. If everyone turned off their television, the television would have no power.
Yeah, I thought about that, like, a few months ago. Like, what would happen if everyone just sort of took like a 6-month break of anything social media, or just, a break from that kind of funnel of bullshit, and just, like, shook hands and talked for like 5 minutes and just continued that on,
or even
like,
stop consuming and start profiting. Like, like, if you can't break the addiction, at least monetize it a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know.
Capitalize on it.
Yeah. You want to jump in on this, Andres?
Sure. Am I coming through just fine?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. Well, first off, Happy New Year to you, Mr. Filth, Nate,
Hey.
Trevor. It's been a while. I don't think
Hey, everyone.
you and I have met. I can't read the name
Evine?
because of Evine. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you. Yes, my business is called Evine Arts. My name is Danielle, though. Nice to meet you, Andres.
Oh, that name does sound familiar. I think you've been interviewed a couple of times, at least on Mr. Filth's podcast.
Uh-oh.
Well, just hearing you guys talk back and forth on a couple of different things. So this is what I tweeted back on January 3rd before the Epstein list dropped. I'm like, media, look at this headline. Everyone, distraction, release the Jeffrey Epstein list. Media, Epstein files to be unsealed any minute now. Everyone, what are they distracting us from now?
Mhm.
There's no satisfaction. That's what it all comes down to. I think Nate said it. We all want them to be held accountable. Will they? Won't they? Probably not, because they're friends in high places. Anybody that's seen some of the ridiculous videos coming out of the World Economic Forum just today of a freaking demonic witch.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh!
Incantations and spitting on these leaders.
Yeah.
But then you have someone like, my goodness, I'm really gonna kick myself if I mess up his name. Avi Yemeni. That's the
Avi Yemeni. Yeah, from
yeah,
Australia.
him. He's from Australia. He
Yeah.
works for Rebel News. He's a reporter for Rebel News. I love how he asked John Kerry, where they're just walking on the street, and he asked him, so the taxpayers, the peasants are paying for you to fly over here. What are you getting accomplished? How much emissions cost just to come meet over here?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
in Davos. It was awesome because you're asking stupid questions. Don't be asking stupid questions. Then his team is like shoving him away. He's like, hey, freedom of the press, man. I'm getting in the way to ask. So what it comes down to is that not everything is a psyop. Some things are coincidence, and there's some things that are obviously being served as distractions. And what you said, Mr. Filth, is like, well, how about we all turn off our TVs? What we forget is the ratings for legacy media are the worst they've ever been in history. Nobody's watching this. You know who's getting the clicks? The conservative right, because they're talking about the things that supposedly aren't being talked about. They're grifting off the very thing they're complaining about. And I'm sick and tired, like Trevor said, being part of the problem. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I haven't done is like if anybody saw my Instagram just in the past 48 hours, on my locals last night, I just unloaded on all these so-called right-wing influencers. And you're talking to one of the most conservative right-wing guys you'll probably ever meet. But I'm just sick and tired of them. Like, what was it? The Congress, the two gay staffers that were taking care of business. Who were the ones retweeting that and just ruining every single
I'll be
timeline?
out there
The
soon.
conservative media. It's like, oh my goodness, dude, I don't need to see this retweeted from all of you throughout the week. It was ridiculous. You covered it, move on. They don't. So a lot of this stuff does get play because, hey, people are interacting with it. Now, does that mean, though, that everyone, and I mean everyone, is in the know? Absolutely not. When you actually talk to the average person, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, maybe I heard something about it. They don't know the details. And frankly, they're too busy to even care. So for those of us that are plugged in, we live in an information era where we have more information at our fingertips and we couldn't be stupider. So there's a lot there. That's why I unplug every now and then. Like Nate said, hey man, unplug. Yeah, I try to take like 2 weeks off in the year, like, just to be away from it all. And the only reason I'm more active than ever on places like X, formerly known as Twitter, and other social media platforms is because, well, technically that's my model for my
Your
what I do for my
brand.
show.
Yeah.
So I got to get it out there. And it's worked for me, but it's not for everybody because you can lose your sanity. That's why I do segments to talk about the good stuff about movies, the good stuff about music, just and life and health and mental wellness and all that stuff. That's why I've had Nate on to talk about philosophical items, just to get away from the other stuff because there's more things going on.
Yeah.
But it's like
No,
we'll
but
always
here's the thing. Like with the Epstein stuff, let's say we knew, right? And we went through the prosecutions and all that stuff. Wouldn't it be better if like Trump got the list and then Trump used the list to blackmail everybody? Like, wouldn't that accomplish more?
well,
Like,
here's the thing.
Unironically,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, here's the thing. The problem with it all is that you got to look at the apparatus that's controlling the flow of information. Who are the gatekeepers? Big tech. They lost one of their big players when Elon Musk bought X. He said, this is a crime scene. It's not an information place. A lot of lawsuits right now, both for and against Twitter, now known as X. Well, when it comes to the list, here's the thing. I got censored for even mentioning something about the list on Instagram because all I did was share Raw's alerts. And for anybody that follows me, you probably didn't see it because I didn't know I got censored. I didn't get censored until Instagram told me that, hey, your gifts are going to expire. You don't claim it now, because I never gave my tax information because they've been trying to monetize me. It's like, oh, thank you. You offering this to me. But then when I just stepped in to try to double check that everything was in order, they said, hey, you're in danger of losing your monetization for sharing misinformation. Like, misinformation? The heck are you talking about? And then I looked up the post, and it was the post that I shared from Raw's Alerts, that's on X. And the title was Trump exonerated with the release of the Epstein list. And guess who claimed that it was misinformation? USA Today. They struck it. And USA Today said this for why they called it partially or mostly false. We already knew this back in 2019. Like, hold on. So the post is right. But you're saying because they're saying now is why it's wrong? Because we already knew this in 2019. Just 24 hours before the Epstein list, we were hearing Aaron Rodgers claim that maybe Jimmy Kimmel's on and Jimmy Kimmel getting pissed and threatening to sue him for defamation. At the same time, we had Mark Ruffalo, aka the Incredible Hulk, going, I bet Trump is on it. He had to eat humble pie because in 24 hours he apologized. Mark Ruffalo actually apologized. Yeah, Trump wasn't on it. So
that
wait,
is actually surprising that he even apologized, because most of the others just like are willing to eat the poop pie right now.
But
exactly.
I never understood this. Like, an actor is someone who pretends to be someone else
Yeah.
for
Professional pretenders.
money. Why would I care about what they have to say about someone
Well,
running for
and that
office?
well, and that's
Like,
just it.
And that's
What
see
Trevor
that's why I like the Epstein, the whole story of Epstein. Like it shatters that kind of, oh, this person in movies matters now. No, it doesn't now. They're just scumbags. They're unimportant. They're stupid. They're boring. Like
that's why Ricky Gervais roasts them.
yeah, and it's just fun to see that kind of like mountain start to like avalanche, and like it's just like for someone like me who like music wise, like I've like I listen to more underground music now. Like I hate mainstream shit now, and to see that kind of mentality go into like people that like just were so like devoted to mainstream movies, mainstream entertainment, just to see like that start to shatter. Like I just love to watch it, because I there's something just so empty to me, and it's always, I've seen how empty mainstream culture has been since like early 2000s, probably. So once I stopped like listening to mainstream music, and just like I just love to see like that curtain just fall now, and I love to watch it. And I think that's just generally like why I think a lot of us have like kind of been attracted just like the culture war in general, because it's very much like watching that like image of whatever the mainstream image is just like kind of shatter, and it's like we all in our own ways kind of just view that in a weird way, like whether it's Nate and like he's into his more kind of spiritual psychological stuff, like his interest in mainstream culture is like there's probably nothing there. I can imagine. Danielle, also, you're probably like I'm not sure exactly like what you follow as far as entertainment wise, but on a mainstream level you're probably just not as interested now, because you're just
I guess best to explain. I look for like independent animators and independent comic book artists. Well, I mean, I now work with an independent comic book
yeah
production team. So not so knowable
yeah
animators, it would be the best way. That being said, I do still like follow artists like
mm-hmm.
Glenn Keane and J. Scott Campbell, because they are the masters in their craft.
Mm-hmm.
So I at least still look them up just to remember
Mm-hmm.
how to draw as freely as they did.
Yeah, but like you're not as excited to hear about the new Pixar movie, nowadays and shit. You
No,
know what I mean?
at
So
this point, like my last Disney movie ever was Encanto, and then like any other
all
movie
right.
after that, or show for that matter, I
Mm-hmm.
decided to like not even bother with.
Yeah.
I put stuff in two categories: brilliant works of art that I will happily give my money to, even if I do have the option of pirating it for free,
Mm-hmm.
and then evil, despotic Western propaganda. Case in point, the new Doctor Who.
Don't
Oh
even
yeah, I've heard of
bother
that.
Like,
with that.
I'm like, like they revived my favorite Doctor just to create, and then he had like an anchor baby into wokeness, basically, and I'm just kind of like, I don't care that the Doctor is black. It's acted well.
Yeah.
I care that like they just put, you know um uh what's his name, Carl Benjamin of Sargon
Hmm.
of Akkad said
Yeah.
it best. Look at this thing you like. Isn't it great? Look at this shiny thing that you like. Please ignore the fact that it's being controlled by uh, an evil tentacled demon monster,
Yeah.
but behind it. This is perfectly fine. It's the thing you like. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, you know, or I could watch Code Geass, or I could watch Death Note, or I could watch Attack on Titan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could
right?
read a book.
Or I could watch romance anime,
Or a book,
you know,
exactly.
right? Or I can pick up a book and read it,
Yeah.
you
I know
Yeah.
it's
So,
know?
hard.
speaking.
There's an option.
Hey, I'm sure several of us are authors. Why don't we make our own books?
I have.
Hey, man.
Me too. High five, Andres.
Yeah.
I buy 3 books a month, you know, and I
Woohoo!
spend 2 months reading them.
Yes. Speaking of new media, like, did you guys see the latest Godzilla movie, the Godzilla -1?
No,
No
but I
time.
definitely want to.
It's fucking awesome. It's
I
really
actually
fucking
do want
good.
to see it.
It's really good, but the best part of it, like, I think it only cost like 15 million to make.
Production
And
budget.
yeah, and just compare that to, that's like a low budget movie here. And yeah, to
No, because
watch.
they don't, because all they need is the CGI budget and
Hmm.
C-list actors. It's not that expensive to make a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what you're there for.
But
I
it's
know a
Yeah.
better to
little
Which
have
bit
I'm
heart.
that target audience. I just want to see stuff blow up, and I want to see the representation of the lizard brain destroy civilization.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's what you're there for. It's the same
Well,
reason Aaron did nothing wrong and the rumbling was okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I just want to see civilization get destroyed for my own sanity. I need that
Oh,
cathartic
wow.
release.
you sound like someone that would be in support of Israel's Samsung project. If you don't know what that is, look it
I
up.
have no
But
idea
Wait,
what that
what?
is, and I don't care.
oh, trust me, you would. But anyway, just look it up, the Samsung project.
All
But
right.
Mr.
Okay.
Phillips, what you were saying with respects to like how much has changed, and we're interested in more
Mm.
like independent media and all that. The fact of the matter is, for anybody that's either tried to be involved with the industry, it's well, there's a lot of bureaucracy, red tape to get through,
Hmm.
unless you're going to do the casting couch with it's never a guarantee.
Yeah.
And it sucks to be a guy because you won't get access to Harvey Weinstein that way. But with all that being said, is that you still had to you still had to go through the agencies, and depending on whether you had a good agent or whatever union you were involved with, uh, you don't know which projects will ultimately come your way because you need an aggressive agent to be able to get it. About 20 years ago, one of the things that they always cut from the budget that stands true to today is the film music budget for any film. It's the first one to go because they can always rely on some synth music, pay some guy, he'll write some generic music off some of the temp tracks and call it original score. But
Hmm.
when some directors actually wanted to have orchestral music here, they started using symphonies like the Seattle Symphony Orchestra. They started using ones out in Utah because they were able to get them on the cheap because they were not part of their union. Well, the union members in Hollywood, such as the Hollywood Studio Symphony, the Hollywood Symphony Orchestra, and others like them, got upset that they changed the rules of the contracts where you are required to use them as the sole means if you're in that association to use that music. That's why, like, we can't afford it. We gone over budget, go to
Hmm.
the synth music, or let's just do a Hans Zimmer like thing, and everything sounds like Hans Zimmer. So
Hmm.
that's what's happened with that. But independent media has always been out there, and I always think about like these cult favorite movies as, or just like these productions and stuff that have gotten life over time. There was a time before the internet, so how did so many people know about the Big Lebowski if there
Hmm.
was no social media to talk about it? Not everybody had email at the time. Google didn't come into existence like 2001. It was word of mouth.
Hmm.
And now it's like the conservatives, the issue with us have been we let the culture war go aside. That's why I can't stand Jack Posobiec. The guy has some interesting takes on politics. The guy's an idiot when it comes to anything like entertainment wise. But even though I have my differences with the Daily Wire, at least they're trying to do something that the right has failed at because
Hmm.
the market is starved for that. They're starved for creativity. You were on my show, and originally I had titled the episode that the theme that we were going to talk about was, has wokeism destroyed creativity? And ultimately, we didn't talk about wokeism. We were complaining about the lack of creativity even before woke became a thing. And it's like, dude, this is not a new problem. It's existed. That's why these smaller movies have always been something. That's why people love Guillermo del Toro when he's given license to do what he's going to do. I wish I could have seen his Hobbit interpretation. We couldn't. We didn't. But at least we got to see the strain for anybody that actually cared, because he wrote that book at the same time he was in New Zealand. Then you have excellent indie directors that then get a huge budget, Christopher Nolan, and then you get masterpieces like the ones that he's made. But those are a dime a dozen. I mean, remember, for instance, those are a diamond in the rough. You know, you can't always get that, and it's the studio bigwigs who try to play it safe because of the whole streaming wars, because of the excess of the power of the unions that brought Hollywood to its knees yet again, just like 2 or 3 years after the COVID restrictions are lifted. It's like they went right back and like, dude, no work.
They are making a 10th Star Wars movie.
Are
Enough
you?
said. A 10th
Oh, Lord have
featuring
mercy.
everyone's favorite character.
Oh yeah, Ray.
Ray steal your legacy, Skywalker.
Well, that's
You know?
that's all Kathleen Kennedy and anybody at Lucasfilm empowering that to be, because apparently it's still, the Force is still not female for some reason. Like it has been, but look, anybody knows that Star Wars died as soon as George Lucas sold it, so I haven't cared. So you'll rest easier knowing that. Just like Rings of Power is not Lord of the Rings; it's very bad fan fiction.
Yeah. I do miss the days when
Expensive at that.
I'm sorry, I just have the happiest giggles just listening to all this because it's true. I will never acknowledge Rey as Skywalker as a Skywalker ever. I don't even acknowledge her as something that exists. She's just, no, I will never, ever, ever.
Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars.
Yeah, I miss the days when being a Star Wars fan was kind of embarrassing.
Like
yeah. Like kind of pre.
I mean, I think it's
prequels.
embarrassing. Personally,
okay,
now.
but here's the thing: you're just like the one person. But then, like, even me, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I appreciate what it was in the beginning. Like, I can honestly say I had an appreciation for Darth Vader because he was a freaking amazing bad guy.
No, I'm not talking about it. I'm saying, like, if you unironically like episodes 7, 8, and 9, if you unironically enjoyed your experience if you
theater,
unironically, especially on episode 9, if you unironically enjoyed your experience at the theater, what you need is a combination of schizophrenia medication, maybe a testosterone IQ booster as well. Eat some celery. That might help. Maybe go outside and touch grass if you have grass. Touch it.
Yeah, at least not that concrete stuff all over.
Like if like
New York
a friend of mine, like he enjoyed his time watching episode 9, and I'm like, they were riding space horses
on the
ship. If they just tilted it like 7 degrees, they would have all died.
I don't want to even imagine those things as horses. They look like freaking like a mule, a giraffe, and a bat all had a mutant baby from a threesome.
Yep.
Oh, that's how creepy. I hated those things so much. I wanted them to die in a fire.
But I mean, Rey was like so boss. I liked Rey. She was
Screw
great.
Rey! Me as a female, screw Rey!
Yeah, when she killed Emperor Palpatine, I was like, you go girl, Anyways,
Rey has every single characteristic of a woman, where if you find a single one of those characteristics, you call the police because she's probably murdered her previous boyfriends for not putting the right kind of dressing on her salad. This is the kind of thing. But it's so terrible. Imagine seeing all the Star Wars movies, like flashy lights and stuff, all the things children enjoy, the booms, the explosions, and the womp womps with the laser sticks.
Yeah.
And then being a 6-year-old girl and then looking up to Rey because she's just trying to do the right thing, or whatever the fuck the actor
No,
said.
she's great. She just needed to be told that she's great.
The Mary Sue shit, and it's like, that's a serious problem.
Yeah.
It's there was no creativity behind her design. Like it was just another.
What if we had Luke Skywalker in drag, but a woman? You know,
Basically.
No, because we already had Leia.
Look, if they're trying to reach me
True.
as their demographic, unfortunately, girls are, and I'm so freaking happy about this. Girls are just, the older they get, the more they realize that the whole feminism ideology is just a bunch of bull. They they become doctors and have amazing careers, but then they're not home with their husbands, or they're single, or they are divorced, and then they're just like they are tired all the time, and that they're these boss babes, and just it's a consistent realization that they want to be home with their kids and their husbands. They don't want to be bosses. They want to be with their families.
What if
So
you can be a
Hulk
slave
lied?
to a man, but instead of having adorable children that love you to death, and a loving husband, and a nice place to live, what if you had none of that and you paid taxes?
They're crying in their
Like,
beds
you know,
with a carton full of ice cream every night, basically. And what, a glass of wine, or maybe 2 bottles of wine every night, because
wine and ice cream taste terrible, by the way. Like, why is that a stereotype? Like, they go terribly together. That's
I don't know.
I
Hey,
hate wine.
maybe a bunch of cats are
it's like
included.
bacon and soy sauce. Like, just because those things
Oh,
go
wow.
with other things doesn't mean they go with one another.
Yeah.
Being a
You know?
total foodie, unfortunately, that just makes me want to try it.
Don't. It's bitter and
Ew.
gross.
If I can continue.
Sorry.
Thankfully, like talking about all the indies that have been putting out more movies and actually getting a traction of popularity. I'm not gonna say any names yet, because it's still kind of unfolding on my end, what I told you guys. But like the producer who wants me to be part of her team, she and who wants to turn my illustrated novel into an animation. She is basically already has her ducks in a row of her first movie, which is based on her book, and it's supposed to be out by this year. This year or next year. I need to get the details on that.
The book or the
book is
okay.
going to be, her book is going to be turned into a movie.
Okay.
And she basically have like got her ducks in a row with like trying to get like investors for this independent movie company that we're all gonna be a part of. And so and she says it pretty much says the same thing as everyone else, that Hollywood has fallen from grace and it is not getting back up. The independent route is where it is, like where people want to go to. And they're just starving for creativity. And like, considering like she's got 20 movies in a row ready to go, but and now including mine. So it's all from, they're all our brain babies, these movies. So it's like 100% our own creativity. And I'm excited to be a part of the whole independent creators in the movie business very soon. So of course, like first it's going to be like podcasting, to kind of get the word out. And so right now I'm just doing reading a lot of lessons on like what to do and what not to do once I own my own once she puts me in the podcast. So.
Yeah.
Danielle, when you just to make sure I don't forget, when you can, make sure to message me. I have a network I want you to be a part of.
Oh, sure. Do you still have my email?
Probably. I have no idea.
We'll we'll put it
I
in the
think
private chat.
I think it's in the thing that Mr. Filth sent, but I just wanted
It
to
should be.
make sure I didn't forget about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's switch gears. I guess we have about 15 minutes left. Do you guys want to go over? I'll give you guys a choice. Do you guys want to go over the clean slate thing or the based thing?
Clean slate or based?
Like the
That's a clean
definition
slate.
of yeah, I don't like it's gonna take like 4
Okay, clean
hours
slate
to
it
define
is.
the
All
term
right.
base.
Okay, clean
So
slate.
Well, if you don't mind me chiming in on
Go
that,
ahead.
Mr. Filth, because I have to jump off here too. I actually did the clean slate about 4 years ago.
Mhm.
So what Stephen was mentioning, because this is all Stephen Crowder's Mud Club and all that. Let me just put it this way: Stephen is catching up to what I've been doing for a while, and he still hasn't gone all the way. Until he goes all the way, then I'm like, hey, you made it, buddy. Um, I was on Instagram before Facebook bought them. I was a part of the beta team for WhatsApp when they were still developing their app for BlackBerry over 10 years ago. So this goes way, way back. I never signed up for a Facebook. I was still I'm dating myself here and I don't care. I was still on a campus when someone came up to me and saying, hey, they're launching Facebook on this campus. You want to be part of the invite group for your classes? It's like, I don't care.
Mhm.
So eventually when our group projects required Facebook is when a Facebook was made for me. By that point, I had used business pages because you need I'd use business pages for the businesses that I ran. So when I left Facebook and I deleted my personal profile, Facebook sent me a message saying, "Hey, um, you deleted your Facebook profile. We're going to delete your business pages too." I'm like, what? So I temporarily gave someone I know admin access to those pages, and after a little while, I opened a new Facebook profile under an alias just so I can get those pages back and then run them. But eventually, Facebook figured out some way somehow. I didn't know about their geo tracking just yet, that so and so knows me, that so and so knows me. So then they started recommending people that I knew. I'm like, how could that be? I'm not using the same email and all these other stuff. So eventually, I just restored my name because people figured out who I was, even though I was using an alias. And it was all just to keep my business pages open because that's where our business was coming from. That goes for my construction business, that went for my real estate business, that went for my podcast. Eventually, I was just fed up. So by 2020, I just nuked the whole thing. And like,
Mhm.
I'm burning bridges, I'm losing contacts. Bye bye family, bye bye friends. I'm sorry, I just can't stay here anymore. And by that time, Facebook bought Instagram, and I've been on Instagram for over 10 years. So as soon as I got rid of Facebook, some I noticed that my algorithm of the Discover feed on Instagram changed. Suddenly, I was getting a bunch of Monica Bellucci fan pages. Like, Monica Bellucci, that's someone I haven't thought of since The Passion of the Christ in 2004, Matrix Revolutions 2003. And then I started to realize, oh my goodness, how far back all that data
Mhm.
that Facebook kept. And it's like, well, this is all we have left of you. So you must still like this. It's like, dude, I grew up and I'm married now, so I didn't need Monica Bellucci in my life. So that doesn't mean I still don't like her. But anyway, the point is that eventually, like, you know what? Instagram has some personal information of mine too. So I ended up nuking all my personal stuff from Instagram. And I'm very, very careful of what I post there. And that went the same for my Twitter. I burned all my bridges to Hollywood because I was very into film music, still am. I was connected to music producers. I was connected to record labels, and I was connected to indie directors, music writers, and instructors. Not to mention um, some of the members of the Hollywood studio, the Hollywood Symphony Orchestra. So that to me was the high life. Let me throw some names at you. You'll probably recognize them if you actually looked at it. John Ottman, James Houston Howard, um, John Debney. These are people that I've actually had interactions with, and I hate that I had to burn all those bridges because like, I'm done here. I just cannot feed the machine anymore. So what made Steven do what he ended up doing? It doesn't matter. The point is that he did. Not everyone on his staff did, but at least he did, because it's starting to realize that you're feeding the machine,
Mhm.
whether you're left or right or center. The algorithm is trying to make money off you, so it's going to throw at you what it thinks you like. And then that enters the whole phase about what artificial intelligence thing is. And I think that's why Steven's like, oh, we're going to do a clean slate, because of he didn't pay attention to AI. And when he finally did, he got freaked out. He said, forget that. So those are my
Mhm.
thoughts on that. And I wanted to share with you all. I do have to jump off, but I'm throwing it out there because, hey, I already done it. And You can too if you still want to. So that's where I'll leave it. For the rest of you guys, Happy New Year. Good to meet you, Danielle. I'll probably find you on Instagram. I think you're on Mr. Filth's friend.
Evine Arts. As long as you have an underscore between the Evine and the Arts, you'll be able to find me easy.
I have seen your name then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I kept thinking Lord of the Rings with you.
Yeah, I'll post the what do you call the socials on the video, so it's all right.
Thank you.
Cool.
Andres, I'd like
What's up?
to shoot the shit with you sometime. I have a lot of people that I I have 3 people that I think you should meet.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
let's see what we're able to work out.
All right.
All right,
All right, y'all.
All right,
Good
see you,
seeing you
man.
Have a
It
good
was
night.
great to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise. Have a good night.
All right, man.
Good night.
Later, guys. Later, Andres.
Knock him out.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's like with what Andres and Steven Crowder is doing, right? I'll speak as the only Zoomer, right? The average person my age, or between like, I think some chart or whatever some time ago is like apparently we spend like 3 to 4 hours a day on our phones, which is a fairly conservative estimate, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I would say
you know,
so.
let's be real. That's definitely much closer to like the average median, you know, but for like the whole country or something instead of like probably like the actual average.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of one of those things where it's like that's a long amount of time, and it's just one of those things where it's like this is sort of what I started doing way earlier in the year. Take a thing like instead of like deleting all of your social media, instead it's kind of like removing yourself from the public square. You know, you can choose to be a drug addict or a drug dealer, right? I choose drug dealer. You know what I do when I'm scrolling or whatever on my phone or whatever. What I do instead, and now I have a chat bot that does this for me because I honestly I can't stare at my computer for hours a day anymore. But like it's sort of one of those things where it's like I essentially learned this like, oh, I can just run ads for people instead of like editing people's videos and I can make like a lot more money essentially. But I ran into this problem of no one wanted to work with me because I've never done it because I didn't do it before. So I'm just like, oh, I could just take all the time I'm spending scrolling and I can just message people. I could just message random people and offer free trials. It's the best decision I ever made in my entire life. When I'm on social media, it's purely a monetary enterprise, nothing else. Maybe I'll talk with my friends or whatever. Like I send a friend of mine like covers of like songs and shit, and he sends it back to me, But or like I'll talk with you guys and shoot the shit on here and all that stuff and catch up with everybody, But like it's just one of those things where it's like you can't be sold to if you're too busy selling to other people. You can't. Like if you are genuinely too busy with productive things, your mind's like, fuck, I can't be scrolling on social media. Fuck, I have to leave the toilet. I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this shit. I still gotta take a fucking shower and brush my teeth and all that stuff. Like I was able to curb the social media, addiction because now I'm like, oh fuck, I have to message people. Oh fuck, I have to, I have to go into the Facebook Business Manager again for some dude because because there's another fucking problem that this guy's having for no reason. Because the ad got rejected for the upteenth time for no reason because I'm running the same ad created for 3 other people. And so I was just that's what happened with me. Like Crowder's got this totally wrong. If the anti-establishment types follow suit and delete every post and on social media, which doesn't erase your digital footprint, it's all backlogged on fucking cloud servers and shit. But like the better thing to do would just be like, why is Instagram sending me this half naked Chinese woman in a bikini in a bikini? Why is Instagram doing this to me? And it's because four scrolls, later, somehow or another, Instagram knows that I run a marketing business, and then there's something. It's like, do you run ads for people on social media? What if I can make your ads higher performing? Da da da. Click the link, below and see if you qualify as something like that. That's why they're showing me the Chinese lady in a bikini. One, because Instagram's too stupid to know I prefer Japanese women, and Instagram's racist. Two, or is that nationalistic?
Yeah.
I don't care, right? But two, it's like they know, like just try this sometime. If you're scrolling, go like this, right? On Reels, on fucking TikTok or whatever, because TikTok has ads now, so of course it does. Right? Just do like content, ad, content, ad, content. Like you like, if you have like 5 ads for every like 10 reels that you see, you should probably turn off your social media. But another thing too, it's called monk mode, or some variation of it. Like, you can just pick a day, and by a day I mean tomorrow, right? Download an app on your phone that makes every app or whatever on screen the color gray. Turn off notifications on your phone. You don't have to delete social media, because you want to use social media to make money, right? And then you just message like 15 people a day on each platform or whatever. That'll turn into 3,000 people a month that you've messaged. There's billions of people on social media. Just find a thing you're good at, you can charge money for. Done. Instead, but like what Crowder's suggesting is everyone just completely removes themselves from the public square.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
which
so
is
sure about that.
Yeah, no. Like, the best way to make social media
becoming a main source of income.
Yeah.
No, but that's good, right? Think about this. If I am in a position where I'm running so much ad spend, like I currently manage like 27 grand in ad spend, right? If I can get to a point where I can add like 5 more zeros on that end in my lifetime between various social media platforms, and I'm responsible for a couple billion in revenue, I don't think that'll happen, right? But it's just part of the point. Like, I have a say if I'm managing billions of dollars in ad spend, or that kind of thing. What if every conservative messaged every doctor in their local vicinity and offered to run their ads, for free? Every doctor or dentist or whatever, right? For like 3 weeks or whatever, and you can pay me afterwards if you want to. Some variation of that, right? Every conservative, because people will say, there'll be a portion of people who will say, yes, that'll translate to millions of dollars in overnight revenue generated for Facebook. And then everyone repeats that process. It's much easier. Like, what, you're gonna sue Facebook, to get it to stop like spying on you? No, that's not how you do that. You just find a way to pool together so much money that you're giving Facebook, and then you fucking unionize.
That's fair enough. That's actually
that's it. Like, you
drug
just
dealer or drug whatever you said.
Yeah, be the drug dealer. Every single drug manufacturer needs a distributor. The distributors make all the fucking money, and they do the least amount of work. If the distributors in the drug cartels, if they want something, they get it, because the money stops. This is a really terrible example, but I hope my point stands. It's a really terrible example.
I mean, it was a very point blank explanation, and normally I need a picture book for things to be well explained, but that was a perfect analogy.
I didn't realize how much time has gone by, so we have to kind of start.
My phone's at 1%, so
good timing.
Hasta luego.
Yeah, sorry, this was a little rusty, but we're back at it,
Later, guys.
so we'll get back into the flow.
Yeah.
All right. I guess before we go, you guys want to plug anything? Evine, you want to plug anything?
Sure. I guess like any of you know what Linktree is, you can find all of my social media on Linktree except Tumblr because I decided to delete my Tumblr completely. It's just a weird platform and I need to get off of it. So yeah, Linktree Evine underscore arts. I am a caricaturist, cartoonist, and illustrator. You can see all my art on Coffee, especially since that's my favorite platform. I actually prefer it to Patreon. You guys want to support my story named Abigail? You'll find more on that with Coffee, Evine Arts as well, and crimsontitan.com, which is where it will be added to an anthology known as Noir. So you'd be supporting me and 5 other artists on that project.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
All
done.
right.
Awesome. I'll
All
definitely
right.
check.
Yeah. Nate, you want to plug anything before you go?
Yeah. Anybody that wants to go down a really deep rabbit hole for just understanding principles and nature and the laws of nature, consciousness, mind control, any of the mystery traditions, you can go to cubbyhole.com, start at podcast number 1, work your way forward. It's in a tapestry. So that way you get the overarching message of what's really being said, and you can really help. It can really help anybody understand the world that we actually live in a lot better. So that being said, Senor Filth, man, I'm glad to see you're back, and I appreciate
Thank you.
you having me on, man.
Same.
No
I'm
problem.
very happy to see that the show's back on track.
Yeah, thanks. I guess I'll do some final plugs. I'm gonna start vending again once it gets warm out here, because no one really goes to vending things when it's super cold.
Hey, you wanna ever do like any of our works together, like sharing a table at any of your events? That'd be cool.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're in Texas. If I ever go to Texas, sure, I'll be down for that.
Cute.
Yeah, and I have the equipment now to do my music show, so that'll be coming out soon once
Nice.
that's all set up. Yeah, and be on the lookout for more episodes of the Critical Introverts, and also plan on doing more kind of solo based thought pieces. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so sorry this was a bit rusty, but God forbid,
No, it
it's
was
been
fun.
6 months. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. The show will get better, obviously, as we keep doing it, get into the groove. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.